welcome. Liereyy against TaToH, fight for number 2, best of 5. And with me is the beautiful, the only, the knowledgeable guy who knows what the river with the second biggest volume in the world is, Mr. Onu!
It's me, yeah. Stuff. Oh man, that was quite the wait, but we are getting into the series finally, and I am ready to go. Ooh, let's see. Liereyy here in the north of the map, in the green as the Huns. TaToH in the south, in the blue, also as the Huns. Obviously, it is a Hun war here on ECL Arabia, and yeah, Nilly, what do you think is we're gonna be expecting here?
Full custom mode. Let me. Oh, no, no, okay. For a small second, I thought the gold might have been bugged, only accessible at one side, but that looks all reasonable. Hunt, well, Liereyy should be a guy who plays it very clean, very sharp. Most of the time, I would love to see him playing archers, but with Hunts, probably an opening with scouts seemed to be the better one. TaToH went pretty tricky last time with a drush into wall into scouts. This time, only 3 on wood. We might see the clean scout opening.
Yeah, no, of course, TaToH did the sort of weird rush into walling into scouts thing, like you were saying. This does look like it to be a much more standard opening. We saw some pretty lengthy Hun wars in the last couple series with the Yo. Liereyy definitely a much more aggressive player than Yo. Definitely much more focused on the execution side of things. I think that's where Lierey's strength is, of course, and that beautiful archer micro he has. But something that is definitely striking me is TaToH's map. It's like wallable, but it's also he's sort of in a crater.
Yeah, that's true. And, well, wallable certainly. Gold in the back is quite nice. Even if he walls, he has a pretty solid safe woodline as well. And, yeah. Well, if archers are knocking at his door, he will be broken quite quickly. So, I think we need to not see him massively walling, I believe.
Yeah. Also, we have both stones forward for TaToH, which could be a bit of a problem for him. If Liereyy decides to go super forward, it is not Lierey's style to do that, though. But I guess it's still worth.
TaToH villager! 11 HP, okay. He just stopped walking for a small second.
Just had to take a breather. You know, it's tiring luring those boar.
TaToH with the Chinese lure here.
Yeah,
Hello, what is happening?
reformed TaToH.
Looks like it. A bit surprised.
Uh, yeah, but what do you think of the base here for Liereyy? It's a little open in the front, but the gold seems very well positioned in the back.
Yeah, that's so true. He goes for the second lumber camp behind there as well. I think this is something where you could go for the big walls on the outside, but he can also create a very tight area for himself. And I think a small base might be the better option. And then he still should be really safe with that woodline and gold.
Yeah, I think you can go for the tighter wall off like you're talking about. Maybe if it wasn't a Hun war specifically and you had houses and stuff, like if it was like a Mayan war or something, then you would go for that. But I think the closer wall off will work just fine. 20 pop versus 21 pop by the looks of things. So slightly more aggressive for Liereyy, but it probably shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Again, TaToH playing Pop 21 a bit. Oh no, he didn't play Pop 21. Who played? MBL played Pop 21 against
Yeah.
Yo's Pop 20, right?
Correct.
And 9 on wood now, 1 farm added. And I really, like, it's weird. I always try to avoid building the farm. And apparently players are doing that now.
I mean, I feel like it always comes down to player preference, right? Some people build the farm. MBL built 2 farms, if you remember. TaToH's only going 1 farm. Personally, I'm in the camp of I like to wait till collar if possible, just to, get that maximum value. But diversifying your food income early on, it's just a trade-off you can choose to make.
Surprisingly, both trading economy for scouting. both pushed 3 deer and are playing it super defensively. Liereyy now with some wall-offs. We are obviously seeing the stable, exactly what we expected. Double with X for now for Liereyy. Still waiting for some more wood to go for a horse color. Has 8 on wood only. That's an untypical amount. Most of the time we see 10.
Yep, 10 is going to be your standard amount for, pretty much any feudal age opening. But he did click up on the 20 pop as opposed to 21 pop. So I think with 20 pop, you can usually delay the extra 2 villagers on wood. I know it's something I've messed around with. I don't really think it's too big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't really know. And now, what is he? Is he sending villagers out?
This
What is this Liereyy play?
Reformed Liereyy?
TaToH has no idea about this. This is really, really weird.
Hashtag not my Liereyy.
He's just going for the deer in no man's land.
Okay, that's more like Liereyy.
No. Like, I'm really surprised that he's going for that one.
I mean, he's just going to patrol the scouts here just to make sure the villagers are extra safe, and I guess he just wants every possible.
Okay. But pop 20 against pop 21, doesn't that mean, like, he should have an advantage in some form?
Yeah, he has the advantage in the scouts numbers, so he can afford to send them out patrolling so his villagers can take the extra deer.
Oh, man. Weird. And one spearman now. Not wanting the left-hand side, though.
Not yet. I mean, the left side is certainly a little bit more open. Also, not going for the as-closed wall-off that we were talking about, going for a little bit more of an open one. He was thinking about going with the more closed one, then choosing not to.
Yeah, wants to control some more wood in the long run. Makes a lot of sense. Villagers now done with their deer. Scouts are patrolling back. It seems like Liereyy is fine with the very peaceful game here.
Yeah. I mean, Liereyy, I would not say is a super late game oriented player in the way that Yo or MBL are, but Castle Age definitely seems to be Lierey's age, so to say, where he definitely makes the most happen. He's not really like a super aggro feudal player. He'll usually just try and go for the very clean standard openings.
Yeah, because his build outers are so crisp, his Castle Age is always like it feels like a minute before everyone else. Then he has Botkin earlier, has Crossbowman earlier, and then he can really punish you in Castle Age. That's how I see him. But this one is just totally camping it out. So far, KD 0-0, and I don't really see, like, give me an over-under. When will the first unit die in this game?
Not in the super near future. TaToH sending a spearman forward, which might die to something of Lierey's.
Oh, isn't that risky? Losing it part of his army?
I mean, it's just scouting, right?
Yeah. There is one sending one spearman over.
Oh man. Zooming in.
Is there a hole in TaToH's wall? Well, that's tricky to say for me, right? That looks like no, that's all walls. TaToH might win. No, he can't win.
Oh, who brings a scout to a spear fight? That's just not sporting. Notably going for the blacksmith before our
My chat is saying though, nice caster, missing out on the fight. Luckily we caught the end. Okay, double archer range now, and Liereyy isn't going for archers. He will go, okay, he will go for archers. I thought again, like, oh, he might just go instantly for the CA, but it seems like not really. Wheelbarrow for TaToH, then he will click up. Liereyy clicking up any second now. And this is a weird game. If Arabia turns out like this every game, I think it would be better.
Really?
Like, not than them, but better than what I'm playing now, and people like aggressively forwarding, building men-at-arms and such. Just peacefully. Everyone builds 4 scouts. If you go for 5, that's fine. Wall up, and let's see then. What civilization do you have? Oh, okay. I will build archers. Oh, you as well. Only fair.
Because I feel like that's what people who were like old school AOC players, like I think I saw, what was it, Ra on AoE zone saying that there's like way too much walling for even like on wars to be enjoyable or something like that. Because some people really sort of prefer the, I guess, the feudal age grush and stuff, but with units, not with towers.
Yeah. Well, we had some entertaining games from 2002 to 2012. Hans Wars. And very little walling.
Yep, now we're in a new age, a new era.
TaToH
And
did go for the stone gate at the front. Now goes for fletching. We'll take the first fight here. Army comparison, very close.
Yep, both players incorporating some amount of archers into their army. You were definitely advocating earlier, and I think now, for trying to skip out on those archers and just save it for the CA. I think that, honestly, that probably would have been the best idea for either of these players, since this is just so passive. But regardless, they're going to hit Castle Age. Whoa!
Lierey's archers didn't get any hits yet. They have all full HP.
Oh my god, freaking Liereyy, man.
And scouts don't matter at all in this fight anymore. So it's all about crosswoman HP. Liereyy, better uptiming, crosswoman botkin now flying in. TaToH needs to run for now. And what did we say about Craters?
They're pretty weak to getting just killed by archers. Not the Stone Gate, though. Literally attack anywhere else. Liereyy.
Hill advantage now. The dance starts. And TaToH eating the first loss, eating the second loss. Oh god, this Austrian kid, man, he's so good!
I mean, I know the tango is...
This is just ridiculous.
Spanish dance, but...
Oh god.
Liereyy knows how to tango, man.
Oh, this micro nerd. Look at that. KD 12-5 now. Can win, even out micro the other side with the scouts where I couldn't even watch. And oh man, this guy is just so sick. How did he do that? The splits again. Oh man. And it's like TaToH, who's also like top 10 micro in the world.
Yeah, it's like Liereyy is decisively like out microing TaToH, and then TaToH is like insanely good. Also, TaToH actually adding in more crossbowmen. Liereyy switching over into the cav archer play, and Liereyy, even if we count for 3 villagers with wheelbarrow, is just 2 villagers ahead, just from next to flawless TC, no idle time. Like, what if this kid actually practiced?
Oh, just think about that. If he knew the maps and the settings beforehand, oh, I think he could be good.
You think? Just maybe. Notably though, this is something...
Sorry. Okay.
Lierey's also switching onto... Sorry.
TaToH's just playing Dowd style here. I don't want to be humiliated in front of thousands of people. I will just do ballistics and then come back and fight.
Yeah, that's about as Dowd style as it gets. But that does have a cost. Liereyy much faster to go on to the 3 town centers. Also, something I was just going to say that is, I feel so stylistic of Liereyy. He is so confident in his archer micro that he'll...
Guess who just showed up in my chat?
Oh, did you just, do the...
Summon. I did summon him.
Yeah, the exorcist summoning of the Lord himself.
He wasn't too happy. Okay, 7 villages ahead now. 5 military ahead as well. Eco is running perfectly, as we can see. And, well, triple CA production against only double CA production. Okay, now triple as well. TaToH is queuing up more villagers than Liereyy. Only one TC working for him at the moment. Went for Town Watch. Okay.
That Town Watch is an upgrade that I know you and I are both big fans of. It's just can help save you so much. Nice actually bit of micro from TaToH right there. Getting some nice picks on the cav archers. Of course, all the crossbowmen will die eventually, but at least trying to maximize their value before they all, like, be literal dust.
Okay, Liereyy now getting wheelbarrow as well. Then they will have even economies here. Going back with the CA count at the moment, I believe 11 to 16. So TaToH is fine if he finds hills to fight, but cannot really get into the aggression.
Yeah, and that's just because he invested more heavily into Crossbone early on, and then slightly worse fights. And Liereyy also getting the quick husbandry upgrade, actually having husbandry and bloodlines ahead of TaToH, so his upgrades are looking a fair bit better. Getting another pick off right there. TaToH even feeling the pressure, investing into elite skirmisher.
Oh, TaToH reading out of every book. The Doubt book, the MBL book, and, well, if we saw the micro earlier, the Nearly book as well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Lierey's micro, that is right out of the Nilly.
Okay, now some pressure, and, well, what did we say about Hills? And the big trader here, he can get in, can maybe even snipe 1-2 villagers. TaToH a bit late. Oh, the perfect timing. And now suddenly he has the hill. And with some skirmishes around, gets the +4 defense as well. Still lacking bloodlines though. Did he forget?
He doesn't have husbandry either, so I don't think, I think it's just a resources matter. The TaToH's actually getting +2 armor, interestingly. That will certainly be especially helpful for the skirmishers, but you just can't take this fight if you're TaToH.
Michael is just like, oh, I have another CA. Well, I'm microing with 2 groups already, but let's micro that CA as well and dodge some shots over there. This clicking speed is just ridiculous. And, well, now Liereyy even has the numbers to take the fight against the hill.
Yeah, I mean, he's ahead by, what is it? Over double the CA numbers, 23-11 in favor of our green player. That is a fight you can take uphill.
Yeah, but if we compare like range units, it's 28-24. But look at that, Lierey's already preparing the switch. Knights around, +1 defense, and he already has bloodlines now coming in here, and those will clean house against that mass amount of skirmishes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we saw from Yo MBL. Adding in a few knights really can make a huge difference when your opponent is going skirm cav archer. And both players deciding to disengage for the time being. Thankfully, Tati is getting bloodlines. That's going to be really nice for him. Also, we have thumb ring for Liereyy, no thumb ring for TaToH, so that's just going to be another point of difference. And yeah, a ram also for Liereyy. Huh?
Well, maybe debating some. It's not really your typical unit in Castle Age, but I honestly don't mind that. TaToH's now trying to catch up with Thumbring as well. Played barding armor for those knights finished, and overall army value a bit higher for Liereyy, but that's mainly HP from the ram as well. TaToH's dodging that and wants to take this fight. I think that would be a bad one for him.
Yeah, of course the HP is also going to be coming in. Knights have more HP than skirmishers. But the skirms are trying to pick off the cav archers, doing their absolute best. Remember, Liereyy does not have ballistics just yet. Knight numbers are looking a little bit lower. TaToH now has a large military advantage.
Interesting.
That's
TaToH,
nice for him.
10 population ahead here. And yeah, ballistics kind of weird because Liereyy did rush to 3 TCs, then the instant ballistic, or the instant university, but that's most likely a forgotten upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't have the university and was just trying to focus on unit production, that's like, you know, a decision he'd make for better or worse. But getting the university and then not even getting ballistics, that's definitely a waste. Third stable though for Liereyy. It's just going to try and go for the full knight switch. And Mangonel coming in and getting a nice.
Oh yeah, we have 6 archer rangers on the other side. Now the big shot here. Ram still at the front, but TaToH is doing a good job of not focusing on that one. Next Mangonel shot is around, and oh, that was a solid connection as well. And oi, getting the big shots in here.
Indeed, Knights now swooping in for Liereyy, but TaToH still does have a massive numbers advantage at the very least, even if the HP counts are almost identical. Villager count, also, again, almost identical. TaToH needing to try and take as good a fight he can, make sure the skirmishers are finding pay dirt onto the cav archers, not the knights. And I think that's pretty much what he's doing. The knights falling for Liereyy.
So how much did the Rams really add there? I think TaToH, yeah, he needed to micro a bit more, but it seems like he did that well enough. Now on the way to him, while Liereyy is switching to skirms himself. What are we witnessing?
I mean, the last 3 minutes have been absolutely beautiful for TaToH. He's taken good fights. He's had the cheaper army, skirms being a good bit cheaper than knights, and he's clicked up to Imp, as we were saying, well ahead of Liereyy, and he's even getting the castle. He has the stone for it.
Oh boy,
That could be huge.
650 stone there. Big shot against his CA though. Now he's microing in. It's another okay shot, I would say. And handcart is coming in. TaToH still only with wheelbarrow. Those skirms. Oh boy, are they greedy.
The greed paid off that time, though. Really trying to get us to go for every single possible cav archer. And these guys are really good at Age of Empires, man.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
And Liereyy, he isn't expecting to see TaToH being up that quickly. Now dodging that shot, Mangonel is going down. Skirm's a bit exposed, but most of the knights are getting focused down. And Liereyy, he is going for full knights, but in the other game against MBL, we saw how much Mr. Yo could go for the aggression and force those fights, something we couldn't see from Liereyy yet.
Yeah, and I think one of the big differences is that Yo didn't stop the Cav Archer production. Liereyy switching into skirmishers and knights. I think I like the Cav Archer play a bit more just because you're spreading out your resource consumption a bit better as the skirmishers and the knights cost food. Cav Archers obviously do not. So I think that sort of strategic decision was a little bit better for Yo in that situation.
Huh? Probably. Even a repair on the Mangonel there. Can we get a shot against... Oh, just Mangonel 1-for-1 trade. Bracer's coming in. Chemistry's coming in. And Liereyy knows, okay, this is a good timing to attack. Ram now at the front from TaToH. So he is doing the same trick just around. Is taking the hill control. And I think that's totally fine for TaToH to take this fight and just wait for Bracer. And then he's still in a fine position.
Yeah, certainly. Liereyy has the food click up still a little ways off in terms of gold. This fight is just going to be straight up Imp versus Castle Age. TaToH even has the numbers advantage. Ram's going to be soaking up a large amount of arrow fire from those Cav Archers who are just kind of derping around shooting at a Ram instead of, units that matter. And yeah, the Cav Archer numbers were thinned a fair bit for TaToH, but he still has a massive lead right now.
And also, like, we thinned out the knight numbers by Liereyy quite a bit. He is still going for skirmishes. Castle at the left-hand side hill. Maybe he can get 1-2 traps out and really pressure the production at the front of Liereyy, who is struggling quite a bit. TaToH is looking in a good position.
Well, yeah, of course, when you're in this spot of Liereyy where you're, again, kind of like what Yo is in, where you're slower to Imperial Age, and to not die, you need to make a ton of units. But you also need to spend the resources on Imperial Age, and that's just really taxing on your economy. So this is going to be a hard hold from Liereyy until Imperial Age. Yo was able to pull it off in his game. Let's see how Liereyy can do this time. Population count is overall still fairly even, but again, just looking at Imperial versus Castle.
Yeah, and TaToH is sniping down quite a nice amount of units now as chemistry as well. And then the damage output becomes really sick. Liereyy wanted to expand to the left-hand side. Gold not really going to happen. Now Open the Walls is moving out with the villagers, and I hear the first relics being picked off as well.
Yeah, always just nice to have when you are ahead in map control. Just go grab the relics. Always makes me happy. Liereyy trying to dive in with these skirmishers. This is a fight that I'm not sold on him committing to, especially since he's still kind of fighting uphill. This seems...
He is not really pressured into taking those fights, right? Does he really want to catch all the CA, or what's the plan? Well, he is, getting some pickups for sure. But again, knight number kind of reset here. Down to only 3 in the back. That's still 1 gold spot in the middle that we're fighting for as well. I think that should be Lierey's, right?
Yeah, it's almost certainly going to be Lierey's. I do wish TaToH was a little lighter on the skirmisher production and a little heavier on the Cav Archer production. It might just have been how his resources panned out, that he just made whatever units he could afford. But I think if he was a little lighter on the skirmishers, he probably would have done a bit better. That's not to say he's in a bad spot by any means, but Liereyy has stabilized enough to make it to the Imperial Age and is only 10 pop behind his opponent right now.
Adding more archer rangers, a second blacksmith for him as well. A castle at a weird spot. Most of the time you want to see people building the castles on a hill, especially because he's controlling the right-hand side hill. That's surprising to me that he's building it kind of in front of his production.
Yeah, obviously this was a very conscious decision from Liereyy, not to build it on the hill, I guess just favoring protecting his production. I mean, losing your production is one very quick way to get your game snowballed out of control, so I don't think it is necessarily a bad decision, but like you, I kind of like the idea of putting it on the hill.
Oh, look at that big raid from TaToH. He is spreading around with those CAs everywhere. Raiding some at the left-hand side and coming in with so many CAs. That will be some dead villagers for sure.
It will be some dead villagers, I think, but it's going to be more idle time. Honestly, the cav archer just kind of... A lot of them just kind of died without getting a whole lot done. TaToH is maybe going to get 5, 6 villagers out of this at most. That wasn't really, I think, too impressive.
Nice reaction surely by Liereyy, and maybe that was a lot of losses for him. Did he maybe want to save that? He's now going for hazards. Could afford heavy CA now. Or do we want to see him go for Tarkin? So what is a good option for the use of his resources now?
I think you can make arguments for both CA and for Tarkins. The CA are going to be good in that TaToH already has all the cav archers already, whereas he'd have to make the Tarkins from scratch. But the Tarkins are going to be a bit better against the army composition of Liereyy. I think it's kind of hard to call one way or the other. I guess, do you have a preference?
Well, now he invested all his resources, so it's kind of out of it. Left-hand side, we have a big raid from Liereyy. Would have loved to see TaToH wall off all this left-hand side area. He's now walling at least the second layer, so he will accept that like 15 builds are dying at the front. We'll kill all the light cav in return, though.
Yeah, but this was a much smaller investment for Liereyy than TaToH did in his respective raid, and it got way more done, in my opinion. Probably not going to matter too much in the long run, as both players are on more than sufficient numbers of town centers. But it's something at least. TaToH's pushing forward here with these capped rams, though, trying to make something happen just right at the front of Lierey's base.
Oh yeah, and he's pushing quite nicely with the rams. Has hussars, but without a single attack upgrade on them though. But a lot of skirmishes getting hit now, and we can see the castle on the right hand side up would have been so much nicer for him, at least in this fight. But then maybe TaToH would have chosen another angle to attack. Cavalier switch for Liereyy coming in. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty pricey switch at this stage in the game, but I guess he never invested in the hussar upgrade or heavy cav archer or anything like that. But castle already getting trebbed down by TaToH. It's right where his reinforcements are, so I don't think the trebuchet is going to be caught out of position. But right now TaToH is a dearth of gold units. I guess he has 27 cav archers still, but they're kind of just doing nothing on the left side of the map right now. Lierey's going to actually bring the cavaliers here at the front.
Maybe to hold that off, to get the castles up and finally control the gold. Still very little relic control here. I can see 2 other relics kind of spotted by Mr. TaToH, so he will, for now at least, play 2 against 0 relics. Let's take a look. Didn't really scout those. Kind of dodging the relics at the moment. Might in the long run get 5 versus 0 though.
Yeah, and as we saw in one of the games earlier, I think that was a huge difference. I think it was Yo who had like 4 relics to 0. And that was definitely a large part in why he won the game. But Liereyy has importantly been driven off of this neutral gold to the west. There isn't a ton left there, but it's something, and denying whatever gold you can from your opponent is going to be pretty good. Lierey's actually a little low in population at 160 right now, but is trebbing down the castle of TaToH.
And walled off the left-hand side. Another raid wanted to come in, and yeah, trebbing that castle down in the center. I'm a bit surprised that TaToH is contesting that so little. Maybe he's just grouping up, wants to wait for his mass amount of hussars. Look at that, 20 hussars in the queue.
That's a lot of hussars, and he's certainly well ahead in terms of population compared to Liereyy, but that's a pretty expensive loss in losing the castle. And again, cav archers are still missing upgrades like the heavy cav archer upgrade and Parthian tactics. Meanwhile, the cavaliers, other than paladin, are fully upgraded. And I think Lierey's starting to win here a little bit in the front.
But that's a lot of gold loss for him against only hussars. For now, CAs aren't really dying. Now for the first time they're getting some shots off. Liereyy even forcing those CAs to move quite a bit in the fight. His traps did quite some damage. Now going to unpack them again and wants to probably fire another volley at those CAs.
Yeah, and behind all this, TaToH is getting an excellent raid in the base of Liereyy. He's just got beautiful hussars spread out absolutely everywhere, and this is going to be causing a huge amount of idle time and villager losses both. This is much more successful than his raid earlier.
Oh god, that's so much forced idle time. As you can see, 33 idles here by Liereyy, and he is dropping numbers quite heavily. Meanwhile, we have him winning at the front fight. TaToH, sick move by him.
Yeah, certainly. Liereyy a little bit overextended with the trebuchet. He's going to lose, looks like at least 2 right here. That's certainly not what you want to be doing. And TaToH's bold enough to throw down siege workshops right at the front. Definitely going to be wanting to add in as many rams as possible. And, I mean, the hussars aren't cleaned up yet, Nilly. Lierey's below 100 bills. This is an absolute disaster for him. He's down 50 pop.
Oh man, pop 130 and the raids. It's really tricky to stop them, right? Because Lightcav takes some time to kill a hussar. If the hussar killed the villager, it would be really bad for you. But he does not need to care about that anymore because he already resigned. Oh boy.
Wow. That was a long wait, but that was a really good Hun War. Actually, all 3 of the Hun Wars today have been excellent.
Oh man,
Yeah,
what happened there? Liereyy without ballistics. Might that be the most important thing?
Possibly. It's kind of hard to say, but I feel like there was a time when like Liereyy was super far ahead in terms of kill-death ratio, and then he just kind of kept on running skirmishers. Into skirmishers rather. And TaToH, I feel like, started to get more and more cost efficient. He started to stabilize economically, and then when TaToH himself was only investing in skirmishers, Liereyy investing into the knights, allowing TaToH to get that much faster imp timing was a big deal.
Pretty sick, and I just felt like Liereyy with his knights, I think he took too many small engagements. Just keep the skirms at the front, disengage, wait for 50 knights, and then kind of go for the surprise +2 bloodline attack, and then take the big fight against the skirmishers. He did show the knight switch when there were like 4 knights. He showed bloodlines and +1, and I think from there on, TaToH could increase his CA numbers again, and yeah, just snipe the knights one by one very nicely.
Yeah, that was just fantastic game from TaToH. Will be taking game number 1. Definitely going to be happy about that since he lost 0-3 to Yo earlier. And just taking a quick look at the achievements. It's just TaToH a little bit ahead in every way. Any final thoughts on that last game, Nilly?
Beautiful execution, and I think TaToH making the good switch. Accepting, okay, both of us go in CA, unlikely that I will win this, go for the counter, and then it's not like it's sick, right? Because TaToH's micro is so incredibly good, but he still avoided the complete mirror matchup there, and I think made all the right decisions in mid-Castle Age there.
Yeah, mid-Castle Age is definitely when we saw that tide turn in favor of TaToH, and then just never gave up his lead from there, and able to close out that game number 1. I assume they are doing the draft now. TaToH, I pick islands. Team islands.
Well, that's what some people criticize there. Okay, draft is flying in as well.
And then just to let you guys know, Lierey's home maps are going to be Mongolia and 2 very standard maps.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by Regicide Fortress because there can be a lot of mind games, civilization wins. I think Liereyy should play something more standard, like Acropolis would be more straightforward, I believe, or Golden Pit or something.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
To go into mind games against TaToH.
Yeah, and I think that TaToH may have a slight edge over Liereyy in terms of super late game, and RF is certainly a map that it lends itself to going to the far late game, and that's just on top of all the mind game stuff like you were saying.
Okay, so left-hand side in the draft, TaToH starting off with the Italians. Quite a surprise if he wants to win Islands and Team Islands. We've seen Vikings banned earlier, Chinese as well, probably for Regicide Fortress. Mayans, pretty good pick for Regicide Fortress, obviously. Japanese, an option for Islands. Do we see some mind games from TaToH like Goth later on? He has the last pick, right? Yeah.
He does have the last pick, but the thing with the Goth pick is that because it's a very small, you know, it's only a best of 5. So if TaToH picks Goths, it's kind of a little predictable in where he uses them. But the good old Byzantines coming in from TaToH, me likey.
I think that could have been a pick 7 as well. Let me think about it. It's kind of obviously for Team Islands. Yeah, it has to be for Team Islands.
Does it?
Yeah. It's simply just fire galley aggression.
I mean, I certainly don't think it's a bad idea. What if it's? Do you think? Well, where do you think Britons are going to be then?
I think Britons are for Mongolia. Yeah.
What? I guess the question becomes like, what about Mongolia favors Britons especially over, another good civ that you'd see on like Arabia?
It's way more wallable, so Britons are more playable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sick. And now Goth. What did I say? What did I say? And the mind games will start. This is so like, will Liereyy, like, does he now need to play Japanese? No, he can't. We are playing, what are we playing first? Now I think Liereyy can decide if he wants to play Mongolia or Regicide first. I think in his shoes, he should pick Regicide first.
Really?
Yes. Because if they play islands in between, he doesn't have the option to potentially counter the Goth with Japanese.
Well,
and Liereyy goes for Regicide. I think that's very smart.
Yeah.
And now he can go for Japanese as a counter to the Goths, which was the counter to Mayans.
But what if TaToH Galaxy Brain 5000 IQ plays him and goes for, I don't know. Britons, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Britons. Well, then we have Warwolf against Cataparupto Traps, with both going for towers.
In which case, Warwolf Trebs beat Cataparupto Trebs.
Yeah, unless you shoot, pack, go to the side, shoot again.
Then we just get into one of the most ridiculous games of Age of Empires I would have seen.
Good luck watching Liereyy Micro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is mind games.
Because this is all mind games.
Britons is getting smashed against Mayans.
Oh yeah, it's a total clapping.
How good are Japanese against Britons? You can't really go Ram Skirm? No.
I like Britons in that scenario.
Oh boy. And 2 people in the world already know what they picked because the spec delay started. We might just see Byzantines against Malay because they went 8th level mind games.
Yeah, us mere mortals can't just comprehend the degree of mind games, just the various levels of back and forth. I mean, RF, it's not like it's a civ win, at least not most of the time, but you can get some pretty big advantages just based on trying to out-mind game your opponent, so...
I think Goth against Mayans is a civ win. You have to be really bad to be behind in a Goth against Mayans war.
I think if you ever have or make arguments for civ wins in Age of Empires, that's going to be your best bet. And Nilly.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O.
Oh. Well. TaToH is playing the Goth. Liereyy is playing Mayans. So Liereyy is accepting the potentially civ disadvantage. Okay, so there are different versions, and Nikov in the chat, he was playing a series against me where the same thing could have happened, but he avoided it by banning Regicide Fortress. Goth against Mayans, this is so sick because Goths have the Haskell and this amount of Pierce armor and Liereyy. His only real non-Pierce unit is the Eagle Warrior that costs endless amount of gold. But then again, champions are good against that again.
Indeed, and In Arabia scenario, the matchup becomes a lot more even because Goths have like terrible defenses, the worst in the game, and Mayans can usually get something a bit more aggressive done. RF, we do not have this. You start with stone walls. Goths are the only civ that can't make stone walls, and they still get them. And
Cheating.
so you're just feeling so much safer, so much more comfortable to get your boom on, and you already have the castle to make some Huskarls. And oh man, TaToH even has a relic like right in the back of his base, and one right in front as well.
That's pretty solid for him. Not that relic victory will be the most important thing. Extra gold, left hand side. Is there only one extra gold?
Looks like it.
Shouldn't there be two?
Isn't it? Oh, yep, found it. Far to the west of the map, like a little ways south.
Oh yeah, hello.
Like, right on the edge.
Okay.
So that's also favoring TaToH, just
Yeah.
he's closer to it.
Okay, let's think about it. One of the gold spots in the back is super nice for him. Lots of wood lines in the back. Right side could be somewhat open. Stone control not too important for Goth because you're fine with only having one castle.
So long as that castle hits the anarchy button and then ideally the perfusion button as well. Yeah, I mean the actual castle numbers aren't super important. It's not like Mayans where the castle numbers are conversely super important, as that's the only way you can get plumed archers.
Nelson's here. Don't plumes have attack bonus versus Huskarls? I think they only have an attack bonus against eagles, right?
Nope,
For
they
all
have
infantry plus 2? Okay. Then
they
they do
have
3
+1
damage?
versus.
Okay, sorry.
They have +1 without elite, +2 with elite.
Okay, so they do 3 damage. The Huskarl has how many HP? 80?
70.
70.
70.
Okay. Okay. Could be worse, honestly.
Yeah. But as Torvine is pointing out in my chat, Goths almost lose, but then snipe a king with 2 Huskarls.
Oh boy, that would be a sick play.
I
think you have to be a great player to achieve that, though.
I mean, you'd have to be not quite, but almost 2k3.
If you can get 60 plumes, you can kill all. Well,
If you get 60 Huskarls, those kill 60 plumes.
yeah, that's the thing. And you're always losing ground, right? And if you go only plumes, you're really bad at sniping the traps. So if it's like 60 plumes against 60 Huskarls, and he has 3 traps, you aren't doing much.
Not a whole lot indeed, and this is why it just feels so hard as Mayans. Like, this is, I think, about as close to a Civ win as you ever get in Age of Empires.
Well, in the competitive scene, right there, there's some stuff like if we think about, we had a lot of maps where some civilizations were just super crazy.
I mean, yeah, assuming it's a map with a normal start.
Yeah.
Not
What
any
was
of
it?
this
Rehydration
shorefish-
with Indians. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. None of this shorefish nonsense.
What about scorpions? Huskarls eat scorpions.
Nom 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 nom.
Clock, clock, clock.
Scorpions only deal 6 damage to Huskarls. It's not that impressive.
But splash damage.
Yeah, but it's still not that impressive for how expensive the unit is and how slow.
Why is TaToH 50 seconds behind Liereyy? Well, Liereyy, as the Mayan player, is starting with 1 extra villager, and he is producing, went up with 1 less villager, and that's why he's 50 seconds exactly behind, because a villager takes 25 seconds. Welcome to Age of Empires. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe at Onlu AoE.
But more importantly, at Nilio. But also, actually something people might not know or not realize initially is on a normal start, like a super normal start, Mayans start housed. So you have to get loom right away. On Regicide Fortress, you have the resources and you don't start housed. So you can just keep on producing villagers and be 1 ahead that way.
Yeah, that's true. And we've even seen some people try to move away from that when we had the last arena tournament, right? Where people just click the villager and just build the house with 4 villagers. Because you don't need loom on an arena basically ever. And, well, therefore you were ahead like 10-15 seconds.
Yep. That was the that was pretty strange because I don't know, I just feel so much safer with Loom.
On a reader?
I'll find a way to lose villagers, don't you worry.
Okay, so extra TCs from TaToH. Liereyy, only one extra TC. Did collect enough stone for another extra TC though. At the moment, 200 wood is going for the eco upgrades. Both are flying in for TaToH as well. TaToH will build, or Liereyy will build the TC outside here. Do you want to see a lot of plumed archers here? Liereyy, what does he see? That's going to be really interesting in deciding how much he should raid. And he doesn't see a single spot where he knows he can do damage. This is risky to go for that many plumed archers. Yeah, he isn't going for fletching, but that's a bit surprising to me.
Yeah, and the thing is, there really isn't anywhere that's super vulnerable for TaToH. His castle is, nestled in the back. Even if Liereyy were to try to run around all the way to the back, there are all the towers there, and the front is relatively secure as well for TaToH. What do you think is just going to happen? You're just going to be both players booming and not a whole lot happening?
Looks like it. Only option then is that someone gets an advantage via collecting all the relics. That could be a good option. One Huskal out on the map for Mr. TaToH. Or actually, it should be two, right? He has 4 military. Yeah, one patrolling at the right-hand side. One in range here, trying to deny the relic at the left-hand side. But for now, just get as many farms out as possible. Same villager amount. Kind of same eco upgrades. TaToH actually already with the second farm upgrade. Love that. Especially with Goth.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Goths, their limiting resource is not gold most of the time, it's food. Just not the food you need as Goths. So the more farms you can get that are benefiting from that eco upgrade, the better you'll feel. Also, TaToH notably got the Squires upgrade very quickly. Like as soon as you hit Castle Age.
Yeah.
Don't know if you caught that, but
I didn't, but I really like that. I did some testing before my Jibatong series, and whenever I saw the single plumed archer out, I also went for Squires. It just helps so much. Simply running away, but also most importantly chasing it down, right? Because if there's some aggression coming, you just have so much more mobility, so much more, not really guaranteed damage output, but so much more threat for the opponent as well.
Yeah, I think Huskarls with Squires are like just slower than plumed archers, if I recall correctly.
They still are, yeah.
Yeah, but only like by a tiny bit. So if, whenever the plumed archers have to stop and shoot, you can potentially swamp them. Regardless, Liereyy, no upgrades just yet. As far as blacksmith goes, still has the much larger military numbers.
He clicked fletching, then he cancelled it apparently at one point.
Oh, this is cute.
Oh, well, he did not come here to lose a plumed archer.
Nope, not today, says Mr. Liereyy. But probably at some point this game, otherwise that would just be silly.
Huskal now being sent into the tower probably to heal up, and wheelbarrow for TaToH. Could have seen that a bit earlier. TaToH actually 3 villages ahead. They're now with a monastery. How many relics will we see? Could this be 4 relics for Liereyy against 1 for TaToH? Not the unlikeliest scenario.
Well, TaToH has a monk with a a monk for the relics coming on out already, so it's just a matter of trying to dance around with your unique unit, snipe your opponent's monks if possible, and grab the relics, as it's not like either Mayans or Goths are super reliant on gold, but both of them, like once you're out of gold, you are just not feeling good about life. So you need at least a little bit of gold income.
Yeah, like if the Goth player is running out of gold and can't build Huskals, the game is over as well. He needs to have it. But he can abuse since he has so much wood and food eco, most of the time he gets a lot of the market as well.
Exactly, and both of these civs do have guilds for what it's worth.
Plumed Archer still running around. TaToH with the second kill now. Tries to prevent some of the walls at the left-hand side. First relics are getting picked off. And we already see Anarchy. This is the Castle Age push from TaToH. Oh boy, I completely forgot about that. Every time a village, someone builds a TC outside, a Castle Age Anarchy push is actually extremely strong. But on the other side, I see we don't have too many villages in gold here for TaToH.
Not too many, just the 3 as far as I can tell.
Well, second gold spots.
I don't think
At
so.
the bottom,
Oh, no,
6
does have
o'clock.
several in the back.
Now the Siege Workshop. TaToH is trying to make something happen in Castle Age. Goes for forging instead of the defense upgrade. Some raiding at the left-hand side. Huskarls won't squeeze in time from what I can see. And forward villager spotted. TaToH will lose her most likely. And in small numbers, monks are still doing something.
Indeed. Monks versus infantry is kind of weird because the infantry don't individually represent much value, but they are kind of slow. But Liereyy kind of forgetting about the conversions for a second. Will it be able to get that one Huskarl before it dies? A little bit unlucky with the conversion RNG right there. But he still does have 1 monk left.
Okay, fletching now coming for Liereyy. Won't make a difference when it comes to dealing damage. Well, yeah, no, it won't, right? I'm pretty sure
think so.
it doesn't, right? You do 6, it buffers 6. So even Botkin won't make a difference.
But you have +1 bonus damage versus infantry.
Yeah, so it does 2. Yeah, but it always does 2, no matter what upgrades you have.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But we already have Arson in for TaToH. He wants to make something happen. Liereyy, meanwhile, clicking up to Imperial Age, making the switch.
For TaToH.
Yeah.
Okay.
TaToH.
Yeah, I was
TaToH.
confused. Yeah. But like,
Probably
where's the eagle go?
Probably because, yeah, Lierey's also making that eagle switch. What do you think of Eldorado Eagles versus Huskarls?
Well, against Castle Age Huskarls, pretty good. If you mash them up in Imp, it's a slight winner for Liereyy, but in the long run, not really gold efficient. If you add champions, though, it gets really good for the Goth again.
Yeah, I mean, champions just have so much bonus damage versus Eagle Warriors. I feel like people sometimes forget about that. It's like +7, I think, or something ridiculous.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Monastery also under some threat here for Liereyy. That will cause him to lose a little bit of gold income. Villager count is dead even for the time being. And TaToH grabbing handcart, just focusing on this Castle Age player right now, even housing his opponent.
Oh man, 120 out of 120, make that 120 out of 115, and he continues to push here. Liereyy, that won't be a good defense. Where is he attacking to Imp? It's in the center TC. He will get Imp, will lose his relics, and that's a brutal push. Now goes for the +2 defense, as we did the nearly math earlier. Not really that important before Liereyy gets onto Elite Plumed Archers.
Yeah, that is going to be a really important potential timing here for Liereyy, but he has nowhere near enough wood for Elite Plumed Archer because he's just instead going for Eagle Warrior, not Elite Eagle Warrior. He's still trying to get Castle Age techs, and he's an Imperial Age. That's not a great sign.
Okay, gets Conscription, gets Bracer and Chemistry behind this for the damage output. Loses a lot of villager on his gold here. This is a pretty brutal raid, but remember, Imp timing still for Mr. Liereyy here. Left-hand side go, now the Siege Workshop coming up from TaToH. He tries to put the pressure on all fronts.
Oh yeah, that's what Goths are best at, just flooding units and from all directions towards your opponent's base. Eventually, they'll hemorrhage enough villagers that you just kind of win the game, and we're looking at 42 military versus 26 in favor of our blue player. Liereyy, it's all about holding on, just trying to hold on right now, but it is just so hard. Huskarls have +1/+2 and Arson, and they are just going to chew through all these buildings, as well as the military.
And Chemistry won't make a difference either. Look at that. We already have the +2 defense, so Huskarls are buffering everything. Pretty funny to see that upgrade being useless even.
Yeah, that's not a common one.
50 villagers difference now, or 50 population difference, 30 villager difference, and TaToH, he's just spamming left-hand side go. I think I would love to see him prepare like 15 Huskarls there and just go in with 2 patterns and then really raid the left-hand side as well.
Alternatively, if he already has the Siege Workshop, go for a Siege Tower. And same idea, 10 Huskarls.
Oh, you're a clever boy. Indeed, but he's going one ram to Mangonauts. The Huskar spam continues. Look at that overview here, and he is just moving in, and he's blocking 2 gold spots. Liereyy at the moment only going for some gold here with 10 villagers at the left-hand side. Main rush at the side, and oh boy, an aggressive castle by TaToH.
That is quite the aggressive castle. Would deny both golds here on the side for Liereyy. Again, he is just kind of stuck on the one on the left right now, and even that is going to be under threat really soon. Ram already working down the stone wall with the mangonel support. No walls behind it will be possible, and Liereyy just down 60 population, and TaToH's clicking up to Imperial Age right now.
Oh man, and he's so far ahead. That should really finish the game. Look at that. That's not a bad fight for him either. Choose through all of those eagles. They're obviously still lacking Eldorado. Let's take a look at those upgrades. No attack upgrade, 2 defense upgrades, no Eldorado. That's not scary.
No, it's really not. The Eagle Warriors just kind of look like underwhelming longswordsmen at that point, and that's just GG. Liereyy, you just got gothed.
Yeah, and that's what I said, like, Regicide Fortress there, and with all the mind games, do you really want to play that against TaToH? I questioned heavily. TaToH had pick number 8 out of 8 civilizations. He went for the counter against the obvious pick, and is shipping the 2-0 home so far.
Indeed he is. I mean, he is on the precipice of just taking a pretty quick 3-0 in the grand scheme of things. They're going to be going on to Leary's other home map, which should be Mongolia, if I recall correctly.
I'm not sure if we play both lost maps. Let me think about it.
That's how it worked in the first series today.
Okay. Sick. Whew. Is there something Liereyy could have done? Not being on the outside could have really helped. Or Stonewall earlier. Huh.
But it's really hard. Like, you have to be really clever to win as Mayans versus Goths. Like, your game plan isn't very intuitive, or like your win condition, which is like the exact opposite for Goths, which is just like, flood Huskarls.
Yeah.
Push forward, apply directly to the forehead.
Oh, goddy. TaToH's eco obviously way better, was 20 villages ahead there, and well, next map is Mongolia, second home map of Liereyy. He will probably play Mayans there against what I believe should be Britons.
But Liereyy just played Mayans.
Oh, then we won't have Mayans. Then we will have Huns against Britons. Right?
So Huns is obviously the really intuitive pick here for Liereyy.
Yeah.
On paper,
it should be Huns.
I mean, it should be Huns. I think for TaToH, though, that raises some questions, because Britons would be, I think, what you want to play in a vacuum. But do you really want to play Britons versus Huns? Like, I feel like Huns have a really big edge over Britons.
On this map, honestly, not that much. It feels a bit like on Ghost Lake, people didn't tend to go for Huns that much either. I know I trained like ECL. What was it? I think the qualification stage for the Euro finals. And TaToH said on Ghost Lake, which was one of the set maps in the qualifier, he said Britons is the best civilization.
I mean, I agree. I think Britons is the best civ on Ghost Lake. On paper, obviously they have a kind of a rough matchup versus Huns. Again, on paper, the thing is, Ghost Lake is much more maneuverable and open than it is Mongolia, so you think Britons would fare even better there. So if someone like TaToH thinks that Britons can make it work on Ghost Lake, you'd think you'd also be able to make it work on Mongolia.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. Speculate down to 30 seconds. We will find out. Liereyy on the verge of facing a 3-0 loss here, and then still 2 home maps of TaToH after this. It's looking really good for TaToH after getting smashed earlier this morning 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, looking like he just is coming back with a fresh slate, and he's looking like he's playing really well. Anyway, we are into the wonderful world of Mongolia. Game number 3 between TaToH and Liereyy. Liereyy changing his color, and he is wanting to turn things around lest he be 0-3'd. And I think what a lot of people would be very surprised by, I think a lot of people would think Liereyy is the favorite to win this tournament. but
Yeah, he's widely
might not
considered
be
to
the
be
case.
number 2 in the world, so only makes sense. And yeah, I think something that should be forbidden, obviously it is forbidden in ECL, it was forbidden in NAC, and, well, changing colors. I think people should really get punished for that.
Yeah, I mean, at least, you know, a 5-point ban or
But
something
look
like
at that,
that.
they're playing the quote-unquote right map. ECL Mongolia here, and look at that, it is way more open. Oh, actually, is it way more open? For TaToH. Then we had the map for MBL, for example.
Yeah. It feels like there's maybe a few more forests on this map than on the standard Mongolia, but obviously way, way less cliffs.
Okay, someone in my chat said against Castle Age, Huskarl's chemistry does one more attack. Isn't the... I think they have 6 plus 2 defense, and Plumes have 5 plus 4 attack with chemistry.
+1.
Yeah, +1 then. But that is like... It still does 2 attack, 2 damage, even if you have chemistry or not. I'm very sure.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Okay, so Liereyy now seeing that he faces TaToH playing Britons, kind of obvious what TaToH is trying to achieve, mass amount of crosswomen and Castle Age. How can Liereyy prevent that?
Well, one, I think TaToH's map is pretty great. Yeah, the main gold is a little bit forward, but it's still fairly wallable. Again, the hill at the front, not ideal, but it's just so wallable, and at least he does have the gold in the back, which is really safe, and it's just so wallable.
Yeah. My chat, someone saying it's 0 plus 1. No. Even before all damages, you always calculate 1 attack, and then the attack bonuses are coming. So it's always 1 attack, no matter what upgrades, and then the +1 attack from Plumes against infantry is coming as well. That makes it
And that applies
always
to all
2.
bonus damage.
Yeah. Okay, let's focus on this one. I'm happy that we settled this. TaToH, did he see his back gold? Obviously he did. Is he happy with his map? In the short run? Very sure, right?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, the hill makes things a little bit awkward as the game drags on, but, I mean, if you want to go for like a Drush FC or something, as Britons, which is certainly going to be a pretty common strategy for them, this is about as good of a map as you could hope for, but I think that is a little bit less likely since he is kind of walling out his deer.
Well, we'll see. He's already walling quite a bit until, yeah, he's facing a big one. But if you outrange your opponent, hill bonuses aren't that, or hills aren't that big of a factor, because you can always shoot him and he can't shoot back.
True. That is a good point.
So Britons don't suffer from bad maps as much when it comes to hills.
Yeah, that is that. I like that. I hadn't thought about it that way. But yeah, I mean, TaToH is walling quite early, so maybe he is indeed going to try and go for that Drush FC. I mean, Britons love to get Drush FC crossbows if they can, ever manage it.
Absolutely.
Liereyy, though, luring a couple deer. What's up?
No, absolutely. I'm saying Liereyy now going for the barracks. That looks like a Man-at-Arm Pop 21 opening here. And TaToH is instantly seeing it.
Beautiful.
Sees the barracks. Didn't see the gold though. Clicked it away. Now goes for some more walls. Even includes his main gold there. Quite nice. He could have gone for the super small walls at the left-hand side, but I think this is the way better one.
Yeah, I totally agree. You want to get the gold when possible, and it's not that much more effort.
Does not have loom. Wants to quick wall that now, and Liereyy isn't punishing him for not having loom.
That's I feel like that's one of those situations where you just kind of assume your opponent has loom at this point, but
no.
Obviously not the case here for TaToH. Being a greedy boy, going for at least the Drush opening, possibly going to try and go for Drush Fast Castle, and I feel like this needs to have a tower component, otherwise it's not going to do anything for Liereyy.
Liereyy pulling the boy and the grilled. Going for the 4 villager aggression, 3 Man-at-Arms, Pop 21. He will reach Feudal Age before TaToH is even clicking up here. TaToH goes for the front gold. will have, well, 2 exposed stone spots. Uh-oh. And TaToH running into 2 wolves as well.
Yeah, but so is Liereyy. Oh, well, the one wolf deciding not to get in on the fun. But TaToH actually losing a militia to the Ornlu A wolf.
Oh, God. That is so ugly. And both players missing each other here, as we can see. Passing each other along. And that will be a big surprise for TaToH. Now knocking at his front door.
Yeah, I mean, forward Men-at-Arms Towers 21 pop. This isn't something that's very Liereyy, but I think it's just so strong and necessary in his position that you'd just be silly not to do that. Does Liereyy have anyone on stone back at home? He has 2 villagers, so at least something of a commitment to more towers. And TaToH even going with the forward gold, so that is also towerable if it comes to that.
Well, Liereyy did not scout anything of that. He only saw the double stone at the front. I don't like that TaToH went for a gate there. I think just going mass palisades would have been the better option. Now goes for the gate. That would still be open. Oh no, if the gate falls. Okay, TaToH is going for another gate there here. But we're only building with 2 villagers might not be enough against 4 men-at-arms and a scout.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage that Men-at-Arms do. There has to be at least, near constant pairs, that's for sure. And Lierey's gonna have another tower here, and as soon as he feels like putting one down, there we go. And oh man, this is just messy for TaToH to deal with.
Yeah, but he didn't lose a single villager. He is still not having any villagers really pressured to be forced away. And he will just cancel his fast castle plans and will go into archers here and will defend this, I believe.
At least for the time being.
No, okay. Whew.
Ooh, that would have been too much, man. TaToH should be okay in terms of defending right now, but he doesn't have any stone income. And that could be a problem going forward if Liereyy just continues this tower aggression. TaToH, of course, going to be coming in with the archery range. Can actually only afford just that right now. Needs to have these houses behind.
I have no idea if that's walled. I think it is open at the right-hand side.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
I think that might be a hole here. The men-at-arms are coming through. They're blocked. Oh, blocked off.
Yes, there's a hole.
There's a hole? What? Is there?
Yep. I went into Age of Empires and did the wide wall thing with user patch. There's a hole.
Okay. Well, then... Can I do the same? No, not really. Okay, now there's no hole anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a hole. And Liereyy didn't go for it. He just right-clicked the house.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate.
Now there's a hole. There's a hole. If the gate goes, the tower goes. That was gonna. Oh, wall behind it.
Oh no! And some of those men-at-arms are getting downhill hits on the one palisade too, and the one archer spawning at a very inopportune time. Tower likely even going to come up first for our yellow player here.
Wall behind. Scout is debating beautifully. Oh, yo, yo.
Just in time there for Mr. TaToH. This is still really annoying to deal with.
Oh god, is that intense. But TaToH not losing anything.
He's lost 3 units.
Yeah, that's probably 3 militia.
Okay.
1 to wolf, 2 at the front somewhere.
Yeah. I haven't learned to count apparently.
Oh, worries.
So yeah,
that's
no
what I'm here
villagers
for.
going down. Yeah, that's what you're here for, man. I appreciate it. Liereyy stonewalling behind this. What kind of Liereyy is this? Gathering stone?
TaToH wanted to go for the sneak. Oh, and the man-at-arm could die against the sneak villager.
And the scout.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Villager is alive.
The villager is alive, but at the very minimum, Liereyy knows what's coming.
Let's see. Yeah, he needs to wall himself smaller, not the big Tim walls. Kind of reminds me of the game plan, if you remember, ECL 1v1 stage, Tim against the Viper on Golden Pit, where we had the aggression from Tim at the front and the Viper tried to sneak archery ranges from the back and then did some damage with the archers. That
was
feels a bit like the plan here. But yeah, Liereyy, since he saw it, will wall himself quite small, pulls 4 or 5 villagers here, and goes for a lot of stone walls. Quite surprising to me.
This is so un-Liereyy-like. But again, it's fairly necessary in his position. He doesn't have any production buildings other than just the one barracks and blacksmith market for our yellow player.
And you know what? Let's take a look at how much stone he's mining.
Is it time for a castle drop into Tarkins?
Is it time to go for more? Oh no! It's time for a hole at the front first. No! Oh boy! Scout lots of HP, 4 archers behind, and they have fletching. This is so bad for Liereyy. Don't tell me he's trying.
Liereyy!
Okay. That's still a great reaction. Losing 2 villagers there? That's still kind of fine. Honestly.
It's okay. It's not great, obviously. He's still 3 villagers ahead.
Oh, men-at-arms can do something. Archers? Microing some.
I wonder how much more effective melee units would be against archers if this game's pathing was, you know, better. Because I feel like so often, no matter what melee unit, they'll just derp around trying to attack whatever archer. Whether it's knights or men-at-arms or whatever.
Stonegate in the back again. Scout is trying to debate his fire. TaToH is jumping under it. More gates. Liereyy is clearing this up quite nicely. Archers surviving.
Archer with 5 HP, but honestly, some villagers can kill that, no problem. And shanked.
Feels bad, man. And sneaky archer range behind that, but outside of the walls. So, TaToH, what did he see from the map earlier? Maybe just scouted a lot now. Maybe he felt like this could have been a sneaky one. TaToH sitting at 500 food, and we see Liereyy with 300 stone at the moment on the way to Castle Age.
I want to see the Tarkins, man.
It's very likely that you will.
In which case, actually, this kind of reminds me of the Liereyy versus Tim Hun war in ECL Middle East, where Tim went like full stone walls into mass Tarkins versus Lierey's like normal cav archer thing, and somehow won.
Yeah. That was the same series with the Mediterranean game, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was a sick series for sure.
Yeah, like one of the best just 2-0s I've ever seen. But TaToH clicking up the Castle Age, not too far behind, like you were saying. It's at a little over a minute. And, scale barding armor. I mean, this definitely screams Tarkins to me. And what do Britons have against Tarkins? I mean...
Halberdiers.
Halberdiers? Yes, but is that going to be your sort of intuitive mid-game option? Not really. So it's going to come down to TaToH being able to respond to this appropriately, I think.
Some people in my chat asking if they can ask questions in German. Maybe PM me or come back on Monday, my day where I commentate in German as well. Today, English questions are a bit more appreciated. You know what else is appreciated? Killing some villagers on the way to building a forward castle.
That's always pretty good. I wasn't a huge fan of Liereyy just kind of wandering out with villagers unprotected, knowing that his opponent has several archers. I mean, he's not CL. You can't just walk out with 4 villagers and just build a castle for free.
Next tournament that we're spoilering. Stable for TaToH. What is happening?
I mean, Knights are good against Tarkins, but Briton Knights aren't good against Hun Knights, because Bloodlines is an upgrade.
Is it?
But not for Byzantines.
TaToH is just expecting the forward siege.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense. And I guess he's correct. I mean, we're trying to go with the big Tarkin play, but Liereyy hasn't thrown down the castle just yet.
And pikeman upgrade and defense upgrade for the pikeman before doing anything for his archers. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, the pikemen are going to be way more useful than crossbowmen would be right here, especially in these smaller numbers.
Villager joining the fight. Because why not?
Indeed, and Lierey's going to lose everything. This is one of those situations where I feel like it's very easy to units just because I just need like one more knight to clean everything up, but in that, Liereyy ended up losing like 5 knights.
What a castle. And
That's a
TaToH sees
weird
that. And he sees that it's only 3 villages as well. Now he might just buy 100 stone or just right-click those 3 villages.
Yeah, I mean, he has, well, there's a crossbowman derping around just a little bit. Oh man, 1 crossbowman left.
Yeah, but still, quick ball. Monastery behind. Does he have another archer? He doesn't have another archer. 1 in the tower.
No, but yeah, he's building a tower right now. He had exactly 25 stone in the bank. Buying 100 was just enough, and this tower should complete before the castle does.
Yeah, it has fletching as well. It finishes before 60%. Before 70%.
Oh, and the
okay.
wall goes down anyway.
This is so weird.
Why
2
is this
military
game
for
so
Liereyy.
weird?
And now he's trying to wall again. Oh man.
He's also failing at another tower on the right hand. Liereyy! The
GG.
Liereyy tilt!
Oh man. What a series, man.
That was a weird series.
GG's, see ya. Oh, goddy.
That's so perfectly Liereyy.
It was a good map for TaToH, and that's like Mongolia has generations like those, where you have massive cliffs around your map that you can easily use for a lot of walling. It has solid wood lines.
Yeah, and TaToH, initially was going for the Drushfast Castle, but really, I think it came down to, yes, he has a good map to defend, but his execution in defending was just so spot on. I mean, when you're going for a Drush defending against 21 pop, 4 men-at-arms, forward villagers towering you when you don't have stone, that is not an easy defense to make.
Yeah, but honestly, he had good wood lines, simply, right? He could go for extra lumber camps, he had the safe gold in the back. The map simply was justifying going for this very risky strategy. And then he reacted beautifully with a lot of walls, did buy himself enough time, 1 defensive tower. No, actually, he did go for an aggressive tower first, right? With the market as well? No, it was a defensive tower.
No, it was just it was the defensive tower, and then he bought the another stone to get the defensive tower on the castle. He went with the forward archery range.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a tower.
Well, he bought 300 stone in total, right? Because he built 4 towers? Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad then.
Yeah. Beautiful defense, and let's think about it. Liereyy will have 2 more series tomorrow. Down 1 series. MBL... MBL lost his 1 series, but close. He has 2 more series tomorrow as well. TaToH played 2 series. 1-1, lost 1. And Yo is the only player undefeated so far.
Yes, that is correct.
With 2 wins.
So
Yo is already in the finals.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because Yo lost. Even if Yo loses 0-3 to Liereyy, I feel like it's so unlikely that Liereyy would somehow win in a tiebreaker scenario versus him.
We can do nearly math here.
Well, if Liereyy 3-0s both of his other series, and Yo loses 0-3 tomorrow, he might be out still.
If Liereyy wins both series, then he needs to win 3-0 against Yo as well, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If Liereyy 3-0s Yo, and Liereyy also wins, I think even 3-1, maybe 3-0 or 3-1 versus MBL. Yeah, versus MBL. Then it would be Liereyy TaToH in the finals, I think.
Yeah. Or MBL is the more likely guy, right? Because Yo, like MBL can still go through as well. MBL can get. Oh no, MBL can only get. So no, it could be a lot of combinations still. It could be MBL, TaToH as well. Everyone is still in. Obviously, Yo has the best spot.
Yes. The guy who won both of his series today is in the best spot.
Oh, man. Oh.
Well, that was quite the day of matches. This is just a nice little weekend tournament. Nice to liven things up around here in the Age of Empires world.
Not always serious tournaments.
Yeah, it's just nice to have a little bit of a 1v1 action. And yeah, it's already 9 hours been live.
Yeah. So I'm 9 hours 13 minutes here as well. And tomorrow will be a sick day as well. We will start off with Yo against Liereyy. Then followed up by TaToH and MBL. And the final series could be a deciding one, MBL versus Liereyy. And then Sunday, we will have at 13 GMT if Yo is in the finals itself, or 15 GMT if it's a Euro only final.
That sounds good to me. I know I'm looking forward to the rest of these matches. I mean, there were some entertaining series today, and yeah, looking forward to next ones. Thanks for casting with me, Nilly. Definitely makes these very long days much easier.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so much more informative as well.
And entertaining.
Yeah. Have a great one, my friend.
You too, man.
See ya.
See ya.
Lovely guy, Mr. Onlu. Tomorrow we will have a sick day, as I just said. And let me make a flyer for that Saturday. Or do I maybe... Let's do... I think I want to put everything on there. Can I copy this? Duplicate item. Hello. Okay, we will do something fancy here. Friday, TaToH, pop. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Nearly overlay on the way again. So 13 GMT is the match. What did I say? I said Yo versus Liereyy. I will answer all your questions in, I would say, 30 seconds when I'm done with my overlay stuff. TaToH versus MBL. And Liereyy versus MBL to finish the evening. Saturday. Saturday. Browser. Saturday. Oh boy. That's the schedule and the results. I hope you're happy. Okay, I will read from top to bottom. Who's hosting this tournament, by the way? I'm a bit out of the loop. MaSmoRra. It's on the screen. Literally punished for not preparing. Good evolution. Agreed. Nelson sponsored the 1k initial amount. Yeah, and T90 did add $250 for second place. If TaToH wins tomorrow and Liereyy wins both the series, all three are at 2-1. This means if MBL wins the series, Yo is qualified already. Nearly math. Will Liereyy play more AoE against instead of Dota when DE comes out? Hope so. That's what a lot of people are hoping. Yo is qualified, TaToH is out. No. I'm very sure that's not how it works. Yeah, I'm very sure that's wrong. Yeah, TaToH's not out. You said that yourself. Okay, I just tested Plume damage versus Huskarls. They do only 1 damage with both having Castle Age upgrades and 2 with upgrades. Non-elite versus fully upgrade. They do only 1 damage with having Castle Age upgrades. One upgrade can't be 1 damage can't be right. How can it not? How can Yo not be in the finals? Because he lost 2 maps to MBL. So if he loses the next series against... yeah, we have... There are different scenarios. He obviously needs to lose 3-0. It's the likely scenario. And then MBL, for example, could go through and Liereyy could go through, right? Yeah. Nearly crazy, quiet for others. What? Ah, yeah. Sometimes for some people, it's more of a quiet channel. Yeah. A disgrace, you say? Interesting. I also tested Pikes versus fully upgraded Boyas and do only 22 damage, which is only their bonus damage. Interesting. So who's number 2? Well, it won't be decided on this very tournament, right? But find out on Sunday is what Ro was saying. The 1 minimum damage is only applied after bonus damage, so without chemistry, plumes do 0 regular damage and 2 bonus. With chemistry, they do 1 regular and 2 bonus. Have you forgiven me? Very quickly. I'm a very forgiving guy. I felt like it would take me 10 minutes to forgive you. Who's number 8? Interesting questions. So let's count those as 5. So the 3 next best players are probably Max, Doubt, Nikov, Lux? Not really. Hera, maybe. No. Maybe Nikov. Vivi, top 10. Well, Arabia only, maybe. But on those diverse settings, I don't think so. Back T is something that is getting a lot of not enough respect, probably. Yeah, might be a good addition. Yeah, maybe Back T is number 8, something like that, behind the Max and Doubt. Could be an option. How does Dugao do on Non-Arabia? Well, he hated MSC maps, but I think he's really good as well. Yeah, Dugao is like super sharp on water maps as well. Huang is pretty good in 1-1 Han more where you have to do full ward rush. That's pretty much it though. What did I miss? 3-0. Damage works in Cemetery. Okay. So chemistry did something. Good. So I thought careening does something. Not careening. How is the defense upgrade for Inkas called? Ugh. I know people will write before I look it up, but still curious. Curious does something in Plume War, right? Plume Archer have +1 versus infantry. Elite Plume give 2 would be attack, armor, plus bonus, anti-bonus. With chemistry they did 2 damage. Okay. Plume Archers have +1 versus infantry. Elite Plume Archers. Attack minus armor, plus bonus minus anti-bonus. But Elite needs Elite Plumed Archers to go back to 2 damage. Okay. Probably need to sit down with my abacus and do that. Koreans. I'm somewhat motivated to play some, but I think it makes so much sense to keep myself hyped for the next 2 days to not play. Okay. So let's just do a bit more of Q&A and then I will call it. They only do the bonus damage? Okay. Pretty bad pick in Registered Fortress in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why he picked Registered Fortress. He didn't have Spanish as an option, right? He only had those civilizations on the right-hand side left. Mayans, Japanese, Hans, and Malay. And at that point he had to play islands and team islands. So Japanese And Malay kind of good for that. Hans kind of good for Mongolia. So that was not really an option. You haven't seen me eating for a while. I did an eating and Q&A stream, Debbie. You can watch the VOD around... it was 21 my time. I started 15, so like 5:55. Go to the VOD at 5 hours 55 minutes, and then you will see me eat. I had Subway today. Do you cast with Lovell Onlu all the tournament? No. I do a lot of solo casting, but I love to have co-casters for sure. Makes it so much more enjoyable for me as well. I have different co-casters for King of the Hippo. For Clash of the Hippo, I had different ones. Yeah. I had Barbecue Turkman from time to time. Love to cast with TaToH as well. MBL is sweet, but MBL isn't the most regular guest. Treated to counter with Goth? Yeah, I was talking about the draft. He should have picked Mayans thinking about... He shouldn't have picked Mayans thinking about Red Side Fortress. Well, if he plays Spanish and TaToH has Mayans, then he loses with Spanish. Was the caster from Liereyy a troll? No, I don't think so. It was blind, but not a troll. The very best game of the day for some who missed all but the last series. I think it was a Hans War. Yeah, probably Hans War, Yo, MBL, or Liereyy TaToH. Yeah. I think those were the best ones. Pretty even, I would say. Forgotten what Orion's face looks like. I got a picture of Orion today. I just meant the number 2 tourney tomorrow and on Sunday. I haven't asked him, but would make a lot of sense, right? Yeah. The War of Hunts, indeed. Liereyy TaToH was better. Okay, it's great if you have different opinions there. So maybe watch both if you have the time. If not, flip a coin. Okay, Rob Chang. That's actually pretty nice of you, giving feedback like that. Because sometimes it's just like we had a co-caster, everyone was like, okay, goodbye Onlu. And I don't really know, was that more enjoyable or not? People have preferred someone else co-casting. Yeah, so good that you give feedback. The 2 Hunts Wars were great for sure, yeah. I had a coin with heads on both sides and I called tails. Damn. Nitty, do you still think Lierey's number 2? Yes. Guys, one best of 5 series where he get outsmarted. Yeah. That's a man in denial right there. Probably in 2 months. I didn't go to ECL finals to not pay my debt. People will ask me, Nilly, you're still on the way to 2,300, and I say like, I can make it every day now. And then like, you are 1950 for 6 weeks now, and I think I can make the jump every day. I think you make a good casting duo. Sweet. Neely Persona was great. Maybe only Neely Persona is better. Hello. Being outsmarted means you're not good, right? Well, it's a lot. Who's number 1? Viper? Yes. Your cars with Onlu are great. Sweet. Thanks for the feedback, guys. And always, if you say like, okay, give Onlu some more free room to do some more punts, I can give you some feedback there as well. I can include that as well. Less funds from both of you, please. Well, that's not really an option. So I learned about the Congo River. Sweet stuff. And how voluminous it is, if that's a word. Looking at achievements in 2019 is not so crystal clear. Lierey's number 2, isn't it? Maybe more clear after ECL finals, or even more open. Nearly think. We will all see. Makes sense to tune in to ECL finals to find out. Nearly sellout? No, it's more like AoE robot sellout. Time for more questions, guys. That's a good start of a pyramid as well. Nearly wears the same shirt like in the Nearly Thinky mode? No. It's actually... it sounds weird, but I would call the color salmon. Yeah, it's probably salmon color. Hey Debbie, when is the best player worldwide after TaToH coming back from Norway? Hey Debbie, okay. Soon you will all realize I'm correct with my top 6 ranking of Viper, Yo, TaToH, MBL, the Max, Liereyy. Doesn't sound super unreasonable. Yeah. ECL is taking so long it feels like it started last year. You think Liereyy will stay at AM and continue playing AoE after ECL? We will see. Salmon. I said the color of my shirt is salmon color. T90. Beware of T90 then. He already, like, some people told him. Tweeted, what? Nearly just used the term salmon in the most obscene way. T90, get over there. You're going for another big prize. Indeed. What was the first prize? 4K? At MSC? That's solid. Okay, guys. My typical 10 questions to 1.4K. Don't tell me like the difference from second to first was 1.4K. Creamsicles? What's that? Creamsicles. Ah. Well, no. It's a bit different. Maybe because of the lighting. It's not that orange. It's really more salmon style. And with the lighting, it's a bit better this way. Okay, what did I say? 10 more questions, right? Why is TaToH not playing in this? Because we wanted a competitive tournament, trying to find out who the second best player is. 9. RC90 for the match versus Viper and Liereyy. Okay, T90, are you still here? Let's give T92 in the chat, please. For you, who has been the best player ever in AoE 2? Grunt. Was Liereyy even active the last 2-3 months? Only for tournaments. He didn't play much. Why is Viper not playing this? Because we wanted to find out who's number 2. What's the biggest eco bonus for a Civ in your opinion? Most people complain about Slavs, right? I think Celts aren't that bad, but they don't have too much else going for themselves. Indians obviously can be super overpowered on a heavy shorefish map. Yeah. 8. How did yours MBL end? I will keep that at 7 at the left hand side. You can see the score. How's your life going? Oh boy. Obviously very Age of Empires focused since I came back from Vegas, streaming every single day. I would say good, but after Vegas, probably not that eventful. Yeah. You think Ron is the best because he's Korean? Yeah, indeed. We stream 1,000 days in a row? No. I won't stream on the 19th of August, for example. So my 5-week streak will be broken then. Or 4-week, I think 4.5-week streak will be broken there. I think for now I did cast 22 days in a row. Yeah. Who would you want as Pocket, T90 Memp or yourself? It depends on the map. On Arabia, probably Memp. What are you doing on the 19th of August? Spending my father's birthday with him. Because he is celebrating at ECL finals and I can't be there. Just make a short mobile stream? Yeah, probably. Nilly and Nilly's boss. At the kitchen table. And then turn the stream off again. 6. What's worse? Don't get red or have Peter on your team. Don't get red. 5. A special request for the ECL LAN. Sugar water. Pepsi Max Cherry. No infects. Although I know that that's one of your priorities. Make the players prepare. And make AM take it seriously. Do you think Miguel Plastogar would be a reasonable reinforcement for Secret if Jordan Slam can't play continuously anymore? No. What is 2... I don't even know how to... times 16? So let's think about it. 248. 496. 8192. 16384. Yeah, and some more. Let's say 32, like 64, let's say 65,000, roughly. Vegan food, please, and no flu. No flu would be really nice. 3. What do you think about the decision to invite Suomi to ECL and give them a chance to win when it's supposed to be versus top 2? Mr. Joe, I did a talk show, 20 minutes long, talking only about that. I will give you the link because you asked so nicely. WTF happened in July. And Nilly AoE. ECL Finals Drama, 17 minutes video. You will enjoy that very, very much at Mr. Chow. Watch that and you will get a long answer about that. Cherry, sugar, water, and make take it seriously. No taken. Sweet stuff. 2. If you make 2.3k, will you drink all the 10 beers from TaToH in one go, or will you ask him for 10 sugar waters instead? I won't drink any alcohol during ECL Finals. 65,536? I said roughly 65,000. I can live with that. It's called 2 to the 16. Okay. It's not times, right? Times is, yeah, 32. That's the answer. 1. What do you think about Secret and AM not being in top shape for ECL? Why would you say they're not in top shape? Why would you say that? There is 2 pools, 2v2 tournament directly before that, where we will have AM, Suomi, and Secret playing quite a bit, so they can contest. It's kind of something where we can feel where the teams are standing, and I think they should be well prepared. Whom will you host? First of all, nice usage of the word whom, and I'm considering doing a rerun. If that's an option. But we can see. Do you prefer rerun or do you prefer rerun? Since now we will see who we can host. If I find a good person to host, we can do that. Odette, Naomi, Baltz. I think I'm in the rerun mode. About what do you want to dream about tonight? Anything. Thing is, I don't remember any of my dreams. Unless I wake up during a dream. The next morning I never know what I dreamt. Or if I dreamt anything. I sometimes have a déjà vu during the day. But I would say like 95% of nights I have no memory at all what I dreamt. Both AM and Secret have 2 inactive players. Well, there's no 4v4, my friend. Rerun seems fine. No one is doing rerun, so could make sense. Do you think now the gap between Viper and second place player Mr. Yo is smallest since a long time? No. And I'm not sure if Mr. Yo is second best player. Check out Discord once you're finished. Oh boy! I will check it out now. And we will read it out. Hello Nilly. Do you want to? Oh, hello. I will say YES. Enter. $100 if you hit 2.3k. Shave your head and eyebrows if you fall short. No. Add a 0 and we can do that. Okay, guys. Then we will change the title to rerun. Liereyy versus TaToH versus MBL versus Yo. And we will write rerun at the front. Most people will forget that. AoE 2 all day. Friday till Sunday. Okay. See you all, guys. Have a great one. Rerun will start. If you want to see the first matches, obviously now you are spoiled, but maybe if you see someone that still wants to enjoy those. All co-casted by the lovely Mr. Onlu. I wish you all a wonderful evening. We will see each other tomorrow, 13 GMT, with Liereyy against Mr. Yo. Pretty important match for Liereyy. And if Yo wins, he is just in a perfect position. And yeah, can just chill to then play the finals 13 GMT on Sunday. Something you also don't want to miss. Have a great one. You were wonderful, guys, with all your emotes, all your love, and all your questions, making this so much more enjoyable for me. Please, if you want to see me enjoying what I'm doing, just ask questions, be active in the chat, and share the love. Have a great one.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's directly jump into the next game. And let's take a look what will happen here. Oops, what is going on? The game ended. That's because the series is already over. This is just a VOD to avoid some spoilers. So, yeah, you already saw the series till the end. And this is just a VOD without any content coming up. And therefore, you can now close the video. And I hope you didn't get spoiled before at YouTube. Enjoy, guys.